Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the The Edge podcast brought to you by Lockin, where we have tough conversations with traders that have seen it all and made it to the top. And today, my guest is Ambrose. It's definitely a special guest because out of all the traders that we interviewed, he is the only one trading options, and to be more specific, options on the crypto market, which is a pretty rare thing. Ambrose, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
So
Yeah.
let's start with this simple question. I always need to ask it at the very beginning. How long are you in crypto? And first of all, how did you even discover it? Why crypto?
The first time I heard about crypto was probably 2017 when Bitcoin's going up and everything, and it's a hype.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't invest it in Bitcoin because like I was 13 at that time, and the dude who invited me offered me some Ponzi scheme, and
Right.
thankfully I didn't lose my money. Like he's a nice dude. He actually paid back my lost money.
Oh,
But
cool.
then 2018 came in, and Bitcoin went down, so I kind of forgot about it. But 2017 was the first time I heard about Bitcoin. The first time I actually deep dive into what Bitcoin actually is probably 2021
Okay. And
because
yeah,
that's the second kind of like the second cycle that everybody knows, right?
right. And then back then you were trading spot, you were trading leverage. Like, how did you start? What did you explore?
I started by spot trading, and then again, I
Mhm.
didn't invest it in Bitcoin. I got attracted to meme coins and altcoins like XRP and Doge. I did make money, but the first time I trade futures is probably at the end of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, at the end of 2022. That was the first time I trade futures, and I kind of over leveraged and lost everything. From then
Right.
on, I realized that, oh, it is a 4-year cycle, and I didn't really focus much on the trading part, but I focused on accumulating capital and then invest in Bitcoin. And finally, in 2023, after I work, I made accumulated my capital, started
Mhm.
to invest in Bitcoin. Then from there, as Bitcoin grows, I have enough capital. From there, then I started trading.
Cool. And how would you say after you got liquidated, or maybe let me ask you this. Do you know right now why did you get liquidated back then? What kind of mistakes did you make?
I over leveraged and I got overconfident because previously, before that position, I did try futures trading, but in the US stock market from eToro.
Okay.
So it's the basic chart pattern. I recognize that it's a triangle, so it's a continuation pattern, and I
Right.
used my Fibonacci and everything. I did leverage 5 and I did profit 200%. So with $50 capital, I did profit $100. So now I have $150. So I feel like, oh, and I was 16 back then. So I feel like I'm the god of
Yeah.
market. I can predict the market. Okay, now Ethereum is creating a cup and handle pattern. Okay, I
Hey, real quick, if you trade crypto or Forex and you keep running into the same set of mistakes, like taking profits too early, moving stop losses all the time, chasing the pump at 3 a.m., I know exactly what you're doing because I've been in the same place. And that's why we built Lockin. Analyze thousands of accounts, over 400 data points per trade, 11 emotional states, every single thing that destroy traders. It's like whoop, bad for traders. Now, if you want to get access to top 7 mistakes that destroy over 90% of accounts, go to lockin.trade and leave your email. That will also put you on a priority access for the Lockin app. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
think this will be the same thing. And yeah, overconfidence. And instead of using leverage 5, I now increased it to leverage 10. So I got
Mm-hmm.
liquidated.
Yeah. We see it all the time. Like traders, they have a series of wins, and then they are like, "What can go wrong? Let's go all in," and they go all in, and then they lose. So,
Yes.
money management definitely very important. And so, right now, how do you trade? You were trading memes, you were trading spot, you went into leverage, you learned how to trade, and what is your trading style? Right now, what is your thesis? How do you trade?
Currently, after all of my trading experience, I don't really like trading directionally because
Okay.
previously, that loss taught me that it is possible to lose in the market because previously I just calculated, oh, if I win and the trade went successful, I'm gonna win this much, this much, this much. But I didn't calculate the loss, the potential loss.
I see.
And finally, in 2023 and 2024, I started to invest in Bitcoin, and I can loan my Bitcoin for trading. But then again, trading directionally, you never know when the market is up or down. You cannot 100% predict that tomorrow the market's going up or tomorrow the market's going down. And I did trade occasionally, just like by moments, positionally, and I'm more of a swing trader previously, because I prefer to actually have a confirmed chart pattern to actually enter a trade, and it's basically a waiting game to get the perfect chart pattern. But then again, chart pattern can be false, and uh, I don't like something that I can't really predict, right? Because it's not stable. Sometimes I can win $500, but sometimes I lose 300 and then lose 200. So I'm basically back to zero. I wasted my time.
Yeah.
And from then on, I created my own strategy to not care about whether the market is going up, down, or even in circles, that my strategy would be able to still generate profit by using dual grids.
Walk me through. I have no idea. I'm a 5-year-old in this area. So for a person that
So
doesn't know anything, how would you explain this strategy?
I explained this strategy. I did lose quite in this strategy as well, because previously I tested this strategy, because the logic is, if you have a grid bot, which is directional, it's still directional if it's just a single direction grid bot. Let's say a long grid bot. Technically, you cannot really lose if you use leverage one, because like you can only float, right? If Bitcoin keeps on going down, you can only float, but you basically didn't cut loss.
Yep.
Same thing with short with leverage one. It's the same thing. We are not afraid if Bitcoin goes how high, but as long as we have the margin to keep it floating, then our margin would be safe. But number one, the strategy is not efficient, because then uh, we're not trading at a specific range that makes us the most money, but we're just letting the grids go. And number two, this typical strategy is actually common in forex trading, but it has a large tail risk. This typical strategy just floats the floating PNL, right? If we're on a minus, we don't cut the loss, so it makes their uh, it makes the win rate at 90%. But what people
Okay.
don't know is the 10% of the risk is liquidation.
Right. So it's
So
not
yeah,
really 90%.
so I finally figured out that if you combine both of these strategies, then you get both the ups and downs volatility, because I figure out that grids isn't meant to be directional. You do not want when you open a grid bot position, you do not want it to go out of range, because when it goes out of range, yes, your unpaired PNL goes up and everything, but you don't
Yeah.
make your steady grid profits anymore. So if it's a volatility harvesting algorithm, why not have both long and short? So when it's volatile, you get double the profit.
So
But
that's
now
how
you
you
have a
trade right now.
new,
Basically, you're running two
yes,
strategies at the same time, and you are long and short at the same time. That's correct?
I'm long and short at the same time. That is why I don't really care if the market goes up or down. I make money both ways.
That's really interesting. So when what criteria do you have when it comes to making decisions? Let's say right now Bitcoin is at 74K. You're long and short, $1,000 up and down. And when are you taking the profit, or when you're adding margin to the position that went the opposite direction? Like how do you make those decisions?
Okay, so previously I just told the fundamentals of the strategy, but I haven't explained the risk of the strategy. Now, this strategy actually adds another risk, because it profits double on the long and short, but it also has
Yep.
the risk of, if Bitcoin goes uh, trending up or trending down, like significantly, like a major dump or a major pump.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have a directional long grid bot, then our risk is only if Bitcoin goes down. But if we have a short grid bot, the risk is if Bitcoin's going up. But by having both long and short, we actually have a risk of Bitcoin going up and down. It's good if it's volatile, but if it's trending up or trending down,
Mm-hmm.
then the strategy is basically liquidated. And I
Interesting.
learned
Really
this.
interesting.
I learned a very hard way last year by losing some of my capital. Actually, that's why I combined this strategy with options, because options, unlike futures, options has a capped, limited downside, but the upside is still unlimited, just like futures.
Mm-hmm.
So if we combine two opposing options, then we basically have sort of a U shape or a V shape equity curve. If Bitcoin, the more Bitcoin goes up, the more we profit, and the more Bitcoin goes down, the more we profit. We only lose if Bitcoin stays the same, but that's we only lose the premium of the options.
Mm-hmm.
The risk to reward is guaranteed to be positive.
Mm-hmm. So you're running the grid bot and you're hedging with options. That's how you do it.
Yes, I hedged it with options.
Very interesting. And which platforms in crypto offer option trading?
I think most of the major global checks does offer options. I heard from my some of my friends actually told me that they even have options in DEX, but I haven't researched deeper into that.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, the one that I'm currently using is OKX, but I also searched through like Bybit and Gate.io. Well,
Yeah.
Gates now, previously Gate.io. They do have more options than OKX,
Mm-hmm.
because
Interesting.
currently
So,
OKX only
uh-huh.
yeah OKX currently only have Bitcoin and Ethereum for their options pair, but Bybit and Gate have more pairs.
Mm-hmm. I see. And how did you find the strategy? Because it's I can tell it's not something that you found on the internet and just like copied someone and now you're using it. It's probably something that you found by yourself. So how did you find it? Like it was just days and weeks staring on the charts, or like how did you come up with the strategy? Because it's really interesting. It's not that common.
Yes, it is something I didn't get this from the internet. I did actually create this strategy myself, and it was actually 3 months ago that I figured this strategy out, because I've combined two imperfect strategies where I have lost in both, and when I
Mm-hmm.
combine them, it becomes a profitable strategy. So previously, I lost on my grid bot, right? And I got interested in options because apparently in OKX, if you search through the simplified options and you get structured products from OKX, which is simple, but it's what's interesting is it gives you like passive yield, but it wasn't meant to be traded like how I'm doing it right now, because it's not buying the options itself. It's actually selling the options contract. That's why they can give a fixed yield, because we're selling options. We are the one who receive the premium. So we're actually at the opposite side of the people who's buying option. It's now inverse risk reward. We can only get a certain amount of premium, but uh we can lose more than what we earn.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So I figured
And
out that options are
uh-huh.
interesting because it's way more complicated than futures trading. And I don't see anyone in Indonesia specifically that teaches options. So I go to YouTube and search through options by myself. And what's interesting to me is the fact that there's this strategy called option strangle, where you can make money whether Bitcoin's going up or going down. And I think it's a perfect strategy when you know Bitcoin's going volatile, but you don't know whether it's going to go up very high or go down very low.
Mm-hmm. So putting it into simple words, your grid bot strategy combined with hedging with options makes sense as long as Bitcoin is moving in a range. And then within that range,
Yes,
yeah, that's how it works.
that's how it works. As long as it's in the range, it keeps on making money to be able to cover for the options premium. But if it were to go out of the range, my option.
Right. Hey, real quick, if you trade crypto or Forex and you keep running into the same set of mistakes, like taking profits too early, moving stop losses all the time, chasing the pump at 3 a.m., I know exactly what you're doing because I've been in the same place. And that's why we built Lock-in. Analyze thousands of accounts, over 400 data points per trade, 11 emotional states, every single thing that destroy traders. It's like whoop, bad for traders. Now, if you want to get access to top 7 mistakes that destroy over 90% of accounts, go to lockin.trade and leave your email. That will also put you on a priority access for the Lock-in app. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
Would have hedged it.
So they expire, basically.
Then I can exercise the option and close the options position.
Right. Okay. Interesting. And you automated like the whole process, so now you just put in the capital and it just runs, or you still have to like manually, click buttons?
I still have to manually click button, but I have one strategy that I'm confident enough because it's been going for last month. I've let the strategy went for 1 month, and I'm confident in that strategy. I put $1,000 into it as I want to scale up the backtest. But
Yeah.
there's another strategy that I'd like to try with a higher leverage. I only put $200 in it. That one I need to watch out every day because I'm renewing my options every single day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different strategy because I'm actually wanting the grids to go out of range. The other one actually want the grids to stay in range.
So walk me, because I understand the first one. Now walk me through the other one. How does the strategy when you want the grid to go out of the range, and you also hedge this one with options? Like, how does it work?
So now it's the other way around. I'm hedging this
Okay.
strategy with the grids. So the option's the one that's gonna make actual money. Yeah.
This
Because
is
the
really
option
interesting, dude.
strangle, yeah, the option strangle lose money when it stays within your strike price. But but the dual grid bot makes money when it stays within the range and it's large enough to cover for the options premium. But when it went out of range, the options valuable enough to cover for the liquidation in my grids.
Now I understand. And so for let's say for a new person, how do they learn? Like, how did you acquire knowledge? Because this is not common knowledge. Like, this is not what people do. Is in crypto. It's not like your average city trader.
Yeah, because I figured this out because directional trades actually makes more money than I do. Like I just make stable 5 to 10% monthly, and I can't make like hundreds of percent in a single trade.
Yeah.
But what I can assure from my strategy is the ability to not lose. I'd rather not lose and profit a little than profit a lot, but risk liquidation.
And how do you build your confidence in positions? Like, is it purely based on data, or you rely also on psychology? What mindset do you have when entering the position?
When entering the position, I basically calculated quantitatively that I am basically impossible to lose. Then I will enter the range.
And how
Because
many
I
trades
know,
you? Yeah, go on.
yeah.
You go.
Currently, I only have 2 positions: one aggressive and one safer, more conservative.
So you don't have to like be in a trade all the time. You're just waiting for a signal to appear when your kind of rules make sense, and then you enter, or you just like keep adding until there's invalidation of your strategy.
Yeah, I just let it run until it goes out of range. If it goes out of range, then my current range is invalid. So, in which it has been hedged by the options, I can close everything and just create a new range with new options as hedge.
Interesting. And what do you think, or maybe what mistakes did you make in the past when you started trading, and then later on as well when you had the big loss? Besides the one you mentioned, what other mistakes do you think traders make at the beginning, and how to make sure you're not making these mistakes?
I think the biggest mistakes traders would make is overconfidence, because last year everything went well, Bitcoin went up. I got a meme coin that gets me a lot of money, so I feel like I have the funds to backtest certain strategies that I have in my head. So
Mhm.
a lot of it goes to backtesting the strategy.
I see. So now basically your whole game is about acquiring more capital because you already have a strategy that works. So, you can like put basically 100K, 500K in a strategy. But the game for you right now is to just acquire more capital. So that 5-10% becomes a bigger dollar amount, right?
Yeah, I'm just currently compounding my fund.
Interesting. Really cool. And that last question. If you had 60 seconds and if you were about to give advice to a beginner trader, what would you say?
Okay, I would say that know the difference between trading and investing, because everybody can invest, but not everybody can trade. If you truly are passionate about trading and you'd like your whole life to
Mhm.
have a career in this industry, you can be a full-time trader. But if you have other stuff going on, you have a job, you have a business, you should focus on that more than trading, because trading is basically like a job. It's a high income skill, and you get paid doing trades, and sometimes you lose money, sometimes you profit, but at the end of the day, you have a as long as you have a positive expected value, then you're guaranteed to keep on making stable income every month. But investments, you never lose in investments. You're not supposed to lose in investment. It's a long-term thing. You hold it for 20 years, in which you can invest without trading. You can invest if you have a good business, you have cash flows, you have a salary from a job. You can still invest without having to trade.
Is a really good advice. Yeah, because people usually confuse those two, right? Like they think they are investing, but what they actually do is trading, and these are not the same things. So
Yes.
really good advice. And just to close this up, where people can find you, because I really liked what you said. I think for people that are a little bit more technical and they want to like, take things seriously, they should follow you. So, you know, share your social media, your Twitter, your Instagram, where people can find you.
Sure. I'm available at Instagram. I'm mostly active on Instagram. My tags are at AmbroseYolo.
Let's go. All right, man. Thank you so much for your time. Really good talk. And yeah, guys, on to the next episode. Have a good one. Thank you, Ambrose.
Okay, thank you.